Welcome to Tibet, the roof of the world, a land of majestic beauty and profound spirituality. This deep connection to nature and spiritual understanding shapes every aspect of Tibetan life, including their unique view of death as a natural transition. It's this philosophy intertwined with their stunning landscape that has given rise to their distinctive funeral traditions, like the sky burial and water burial, embodying a compassionate return to the elements. The Tibetan sky burial, known as jatar, meaning giving alms to the birds, is a unique and sacred funeral practice deeply rooted in Tibetan Buddhism. It is the most common way for ordinary Tibetans to dispose of their deceased. After a person dies, the body is typically kept at home for 3 to 5 days, during which time monks may chant prayers and read from the Tibetan Book of the Dead to guide the consciousness of the deceased through the intermediate state, bardo, before rebirth. The body is often wrapped in white cloth and placed in a fetal position on a chosen auspicious day, determined by divination. The body is taken to a designated sky burial site, usually a remote, high-altitude location. These sites, known as charnel grounds, dirtro, are often flat rock slabs or areas near monasteries. Rogyapa, body breaker, or sky burial master, performs rituals. Juniper incense is often burned to attract vultures. The Rogyapa then systematically dismembers the body, cutting the flesh into smaller pieces. This act is performed with a sense of duty, not grimness, as it is believed to help the soul detach from the physical form and encourages a light atmosphere for the deceased's transition. The pieces of flesh are then laid out for the vultures, which are considered sacred in Tibetan Buddhism. They are seen as dakinis, sky dancers, carrying the soul to the heavens. If the vultures consume the entire body, it is considered a good omen, indicating that the deceased had no major sins, and their soul has found a peaceful passage. Once the vultures have consumed the flesh, the Rogyapa collects the remaining bones. These bones are then crushed into smaller fragments, often mixed with sampa, roasted barley flour, and yak butter tea, and offered to smaller birds like crows and hawks, ensuring nothing remains of the physical body. The practice stems from the Buddhist belief in the impermanence of the body, which is seen as an empty vessel once the consciousness has departed. Sky burial is considered a final act of generosity and compassion, offering the body as sustenance to living beings, thus contributing to the cycle of life. It also has practical considerations in Tibet's harsh environment, where the ground is often frozen and wood for cremation is scarce. In addition to sky burial, water burial is another funeral practice observed in Tibet, though it is generally less common and holds a different social connotation than sky burial. The wrapped body is then taken to a river where it is disposed of. In some cases, the body might be dismembered before being cast into the water, while in others it is placed whole into the current. Like sky burial, water burial is seen as a way of returning the body to nature, allowing it to re-enter the cycle of life. In this case, the body nourishes aquatic life, primarily fish. Historically, and in many regions, water burial has been considered an inferior or lower status method of disposal, often used for beggars, those with no family, or individuals of very low social standing. This contrasts with sky burial, which is the most common practice for ordinary Tibetans. However, in areas where conditions for sky burial are not suitable, like lack of vultures or appropriate charnel grounds, or where access to cremation facilities is limited, water burial may be more widely adopted by commoners and performed with solemnity. This is particularly true in southern Tibet, where vulture populations might be less common. Essentially, water burial embodies the Buddhist principle of impermanence and the offering of the body as sustenance, but its prevalence and social perception can vary significantly depending on the specific region and the deceased's social standing.